Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's overdue that I deliver this rant, not only because the cast of BB27 has been revealed today, but because for the last couple of months I've notified my patrons, I've notified some people on Twitter, I've notified some people on YouTube, but I haven't really done a video about this, and I knew if I didn't do a video, this would be a recurring question I would have to answer for the next few months. So I decided to just do this video to explain why I've retired from covering Big Brother. It's many reasons why, if I'm being honest with you. I've watched this show for 20 years, y'all. I was around when Gretchen Massey did house calls with Marcellus. I am a unique Big Brother super fan. And when you're black, and when you watch this show for 20 plus years, and only 5 out of those 15 did you see someone who looks like you ever really have a chance to win it, you really get to see how much you are passionate about something. And I've always said the black superfan throughout history has been forced to be the bigger, more unconditional fan because it's of a show that never gave them what they wanted, and they still watch because they love the game. The game in itself, in a standstill, is perfect when played right. But when production gets involved too much in trying to push the game down a path that they prefer, that's when they lose me more and more over the years. And now we've gotten to a breaking point where I just can't justify watching a show that no longer requires my expertise. I'm somebody who breaks down strategy when played at a high frequency. Now the game has become about feminism. Every week it's, oh, we can't target a woman because she's a woman. Oh, let's target another strong guy because he's a guy. Every single show is turned into traitors. And after a certain point, I'm waiting for even women to call this crap out, but because they see themselves in these players who benefit from these sexist rules, they don't want to call out these inequalities, but they were the same people for years screaming about being victims of inequalities. So like I've always said, white people didn't have any incentive to give us the cookout for 20 years because the minute we got it, the minute we'd make them look as bad as they wanted us to look for the cookout, right? We made it look so easy. Oh, it's 6 of us? Let's work until the end. We'll never turn on each other. The entire season, all you saw was non-black people walking away because, these black people are too smart to turn on each other. This is boring. Well, imagine the average black fan's perspective for 15 years watching this show and never walking away, despite all of the alliances that had nothing but white folks in them. Let's think about that. And if y'all did include someone black in y'all alliance, that was just to make up appearances. Y'all didn't really expect that person to last very long. You just did that because you hope black people would support the alliance being made. We know the trick bag. So you have to understand, man, I'm someone who was around before BLM. I was around before it was cool to speak your mind to defend black people. I'm a true pioneer. I'm not a follower. I'm a leader. I'm always ahead of the real story. That's why I'm ahead of the real story now. Big Brother US is dying a slow death. And if they don't course correct very soon, it's going to be rigor mortis. Because I'm here to tell you, when I first came out the gate 8 years ago, I talked about how black men were being blackballed by Big Brother during BB19. During that season, you had a guy named Ramsey Soto who wanted so badly to prove, I'm not black, I'm Dominican. You had Josh, a Cuban boy, who looked like he had some black in him, but has pretty much done a lot of anti-black shit. And I ain't even just talking about Big Brother. I'm talking about the challenge as well, right? That's just the truth of the matter there, right? So you surrounded this sister Dominique with no one who really gave a rat's butt about her, which opened the door to Paul Beta-Hamian doing blackface. Only because Paul claimed to be rainbow. Years later, did people let him off the hook? Because once again, you claim to be part of that community, now they'll allow you to get away with a lot of stuff. So once again, it goes to show, if you're in that community and you think you're also pro-black, I'm here to tell you, you're 50-50. You need to pick a side. But with that said though, I called out Paul then, white media didn't. I called out white media for their biased coverage of Swaley. White media decided to and ooh with the idea of Tyler Crispin being with, I think his girl at the time, I think her name was Angela. Now remember, they both were from Hilton Head. So even that season had some rigging to it to pick two people from the same place, and then they end up in a showmance? But you saw what? The media supported that rigging. Why? Because it benefited white people. See, I gotta get y'all to understand what's really ruined this show. It's the way people have changed sides depending on who they're rooting for. Because for the longest, black people were the moral compass of this community. We were against production because they were always against us. We were against rig jobs because rig jobs were always done to justify why Kalia couldn't win. They were always done to justify why Danielle Reyes couldn't win to a lot of us. They were used to justify why no one black could really sniff the end really to have a shot to win. But now look at present day. What do you all see? All these entities that used to be anti-production, anti-rigging, if it benefits who they're rooting for, now they're on production side. We're seeing it through the Love Island lens right now, where fans who claim they hated production rigging things now support it if the black couple they like benefits from it. And this is when the black community began to take the biggest poison chalice. But follow me. BB21 goes down, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this was a season I boycotted because I can feel it. I could smell the antebellum. I could smell the Jim Crow off that season from a mile away. Soon as David Alexander went home and that Camp Comeback stuff came and he came back in a plastic bag or something, I'm like, what are we doing here? Nah, I'm straight. But even that season, they bashed David Alexander. They bashed him just as much as they bashed anyone else that season. But then 22 came around. A season that was meant to give us a hard reboot. If I'm not mistaken, I think 22 filmed at a different time than what we were used to at the time. I think it filmed a little later in the year or something because of the lockdown. Can't remember the actual details, but I think that's how it went down. And it was an all-star season, and you had all these players, right? Now, my biggest problem with this season was how people switched up again. When Davon was clearly the one who played the worst game out of everyone black, when she was the one who clearly led Kevin, David, and Bailey to slaughter in favor of herself winning $50K, what did we see sisters do? Justify it. When she made a speech about trans this, trans that, about Trans Ams, when she made all these speeches about Pepto Boys, you feel it, dig me? Pennzoil and all that shit. You feel it, dig me? When she made all them damn speeches about that, didn't make a single speech about the lives of straight black men, didn't make a single speech really about the lives of straight black couples, because this is a woman with no man with a child. So she has her own bitterness. So you have to understand, the women parasocially live through Davon's lens because they're bitter just like her. See, this is deep. We got to break down the psychology if we'll ruin this show. Davon somehow wins 50 grand and gets the sole credit for the birth of the cookout based on a speech he made about transmissions. Doesn't make any sense. The cookout come. They dominate. White people get lemon booty over the idea that we made it look real easy, even though it wasn't easy, because once again, the black women amongst our ranks were the ones actually hesitant about being loyal to black people because they wanted to choose feminism. See, once again, just like Davon chose feminism over black people in 22, Tiffany almost chose feminism over black people in 23. So we were seeing the precursor of the black woman's inner conflict. Whereas before BLM, before any of this, they didn't have this inner conflict. You know why? Because the black man didn't win before them yet. Once the black man and Xavier was coronated and won a trophy before the black woman who they believed deserved it more, I saw a shift happen in this community where black women in droves started bashing black men out of fear of us winning again before they won once. And that brought us to what? BB24. A season in which no one wants to tell the truth about how Potato Chip objectively wearing a finale dress the first week of the game was some of the dumbest gameplay of all time. And what did they do? Give her no accountability for that gesture, made it seem like it was no big deal, but if it was truly no big deal, wouldn't someone else have won a finale night dress the first week since? Even the players who play after her know she only benefited from that because she was meant to win. There are certain players from that season who even admit that they're under a gag order, an NDA of sort, where they can't even tell the truth about how rigged it was for Taylor to win the game. None of them could ever debate the narrative that Monty deserved to win it more. All of them were forced to vote for this girl. So now a black woman finally wins. Now black women get the win they got, but they know it holds no weight because she didn't really deserve it. So now production is looking to rig another season of Black Women, this time with a real strategist, to make us forget about Potato Chip's win that she didn't deserve, which should have been 2 black men winning, by the way. So keep in mind, a black man has been robbed of a win to give a sister a welfare win to continue a narrative that sisters are better players than brothers somehow. Then all of a sudden, BB25 comes. Post Traders US. Now they're trying to capitalize on Cirie Fields' win. Now they bring in her son. They bring in 3 other black women, 1 around her age, 2 younger that are looking at her as a mother figure. And they even brought in Izzy, who is built into the confines of the game to help her win. And they had Heisem there to be a shield for her. If you really allow me to tell it, Cirie has 6 allies on day 1. But the narrative once again continues to be, it's Jared's fault why it didn't work out. When it wasn't Jared who got rid of Heisem, that was Cirie's call. But once again, whenever the black woman fucks it up for everyone black having a chance to win, no one says these things. Because it makes sisters uncomfortable, the accountability. So 25 goes down and Jag wins. Now everyone says the season's so bad because a man won it. But I was one of the few guys in the moment that was actually able to see what he prevented and went, you know what, I prefer this win over Matt winning because that would have been more of the Make-A-Wish stuff that Potato Chip was behind. I prefer this over Corey winning, Applebee's winning. Honestly, I don't have a problem with Jag winning in hindsight. And shout outs to you, Jag, for keeping that ungrateful chick away from winning another show. I respect it. But with that said, so they tried to rig 25 to sisters. Then 26 comes around. Oh, they make sure to rig it to Niecy Nash's niece, right? You got to, huh? Now, this is a woman who came from money that didn't need the money, and yet they still created the narrative she deserved to win so badly. They created the narrative she had a right to treat a black man subhuman. They created an excuse that the black woman needs to play this specific way. And see, every week what I saw was Chelsea would run to women, bash the guy she likes to them, and hope all of them would not like him sexually, so she would be the only one with any access to him. Only for her to constantly bash him based on his smell and his hygiene, enough to make these girls actually want to be around him and go, damn, this girl's a bit obsessed with him. I'm going to hang around him more because it irritates her. At every turn, you saw Chelsea disrespect women behind their back because they got too close to Cam. Then she disrespected Cam behind his back for getting too close to other women who treated him with more respect. And sisters justified this too. They said the black woman has every right to take a man's dirty drawers and put him up to a camera. But we know for a fact if a black man had done that to a black woman, it didn't matter who the black woman was, he would have been removed from the game. And this is something to this day that never made it in the edit. So when you have black women who are outright villains, they paint them in the light of a baby face heroic protagonist because they're catering so hard to a certain group of people. So while this is happening, they can find a way to vilify every black man in existence even when we're not doing anything wrong. This is another reason why this show has fallen off. See, we're here to really teach a lesson here to the class. If you want to know why this show has fallen off, it's because everyone has switched up. See, the narrative that people would love to create about me is, Dave, you used to be all about pro-black this, pro-black that. They even called you a race baiter. Now look at you. You holding accountable to black women too much. But here's the thing, though. Go through my ZV. I've held accountable everybody. I've roasted black men before. I've roasted black women before, white men, white women, Asian men, Latino women. There is no one I haven't roasted, and I've also defended every single group of archetype there is. But if I see that someone has been chosen for this game to be a saboteur, meant to further distract and divide us like T. Cornball was, a girl that was raised by 2 lesbians, a girl that has no idea what black masculinity looks like, a girl who virtually is a tether, like, let's be honest, they literally can't find a straight black man superfan anywhere. But they can find all these obscure black women that ain't even common to find in Chicago? You could find that chick? You're clearly looking for something. And that's my point. They're not looking for the black man who can truly do the unthinkable and win this game. They're looking for the black men that are just soft enough to take the back seat to the black woman so she can be the most masculine one in the room. And in doing so, it is production co-opting the effeminization of the black man, the buck breaking of the black man, while also subconsciously subjecting our sisters to the angry black woman stereotype by making them the new man of our community. They're doing a catch-22 to all of y'all, and y'all don't see it coming because you see you're the one gaining from it now. What happens when you're no longer gaining from it, though? The same black men you threw away so you could get all of the trinkets and support are going to be the same black men holding a grudge. And you're not going to have me around anymore to try to bring you together because now I even can see how y'all have been full of crap over the last 5 years. And see, when someone like me eventually sees what it is and just calls it for what it is, trust me when I say, this isn't just a black men thing anymore. Men of all race, colors, creeds, shapes, and sizes can see that women have lost it in every single culture and religion now. They've lost the plot. And this is an unpopular thing to say. But for any of y'all to think y'all have all this stuff in common just because y'all were born with similar reproductive organs is idiotic. It is a lunacy. Every man that walks across this planet, I'm not just going to assume, oh, I can relate to him because we both were born as a boy. That's not who I am. I need to hear you say some things. I need to see if you know what you're talking about. I need to see what your character is before I support you blindly. Unfortunately, sisters will support any sister blindly no matter what her character is. And this has been the biggest demerit on our community. Y'all have allowed white media to convince you you no longer should support the black women who are real Samaritans, who are real role models. They've convinced y'all need to support the baby mama culture. They've convinced y'all need to support the ratchets. They've convinced you need to support the rich niece of a rich auntie, as if you can relate to a rich black girl. They've convinced you a rich black girl somehow has more in common with you than the black boy that grew up poor just like you. When they can convince you to think that, they've won. So moving forward, since all of you have been so convinced that I have been part of the problem, now you get to see how the problem would just get worse without me around to try to stop the bleeding. Without me to provide the proverbial fire extinguisher to the forest fire that constantly grows rampant in every summer heat. See, no matter how you shake it, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't been the problem. I've been the solution that has been false vilified as the problem, the same way production covers up what the black woman has done over the last few years to false label her a hero. No one wants the black man to be the hero. Everyone wants the black woman to be known as the hero. And because everyone is so fixated on identity politics, this is why the black family has never been so destroyed than it has ever been. See, these people in white media ain't gonna help you build back our black families, but they'll tell you what you need to hear to keep destroying them. Keep that in mind. I'm Dave Smith of Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. I'm just a super fan who watched this show for 2 decades, that has seen every high and every low, that has never seen the black community get this low ever before. Let me know, do you agree with me or do you disagree? Either way, I'm no longer covering Big Brother. And hopefully, this is your excuse to walk away as well. Because if there's one thing I know, similar to Madden 27 or Madden 26, whichever the new Madden's coming out is, if we all treat this like Madden, and if we all choose not to buy into it, we will force CBS and production to give us a better product. But if we just come waltzing in because a new cast is out, oh, new cast, new me. If we walk in just assuming we'll get something better, and we let them off the hook for more of the same wash, rinse, repeat content, we don't deserve to have a better product. And that is my overarching point. You can't expect more out of anyone if you don't demand more. And I'll leave it at that.
Time has come for Michael to raise his number 23 to the rafters.